Welcome, book lovers, to another episode of Storytime, brought to you by Timothy Bateson. Each episode features the work of an awesome author from the fantasy, urban fantasy, or science fiction genre. This time, I'm excited to bring you Dragon's Revenge by fantasy author Kasper Beaumont. So, without further ado, it's time to pull up a chair and plug in your headphones, because Storytime begins in 3, 2, 1. The enemy struck. The 5 Cyclops on the Vergai ships wielded their laser weapons in unison at a gesture from their leader. Deadly beams of light tore through the Allies' ships. Hulls were rent in two, with sailors cast adrift in the freezing waters. "Retreat! Retreat!" called Sir Brevin, ordering his brave fighters to abandon the attack. The knights could do little but watch in horror as the Vergai ships ploughed into their allies, who were quickly silenced. Despite a myriad of holes in their hulls, the Vergai ships were stuck fast upon the ice, and their Cyclops leaders kept attacking the Allied ships, many of which were fatally damaged. The Cyclops ruthlessly manoeuvred their lasers from side to side, killing all in their path. Sir Brevin's ship was demasted and unable to move to safety. The Cyclops' lasers were coming closer and closer toward them. Young Knox sat in a corner with his hands over his eyes, certain he would be killed. One moment the beam was approaching the ship, and the next an earthquake rumbled under the water. Wave upon wave pushed the ship out of harm's way. The Cyclops' weapons ceased abruptly as their ships came free of the ice, and started to sink from the ballista damage. "What is happening?" cried the squire in terror. The firm hand of Sir Brevin clutched his shoulder. "Some kind of miracle," replied the knight, awestruck by the sight emerging before them. Icebergs were rising from the water, high into the air, with Vergai ships falling off and crashing into the sea. A colossal face emerged from the water. One iceberg was a nose, and others formed the ridges along the brow line. A tight helmet with horns protruded around each cheek, and the eyes opened to reveal icy blue flames burning within. "Behold, the ancient protector! Fear all ye who would enter these waters!" the ice creature boomed in a fearsome voice. Even brave Sir Brevin felt his knees tremble at the sight of the enormous Iceman standing up in Diagro Bay, his hands larger than a single ship and his height seemingly lost overhead in the clouds. He wore armour made of ice, and a shield was clamped to his back. A halberd of gigantic proportions rested in one hand. He bent over to scrutinise the inhabitants of the ships as he waited for an answer. "What is it?" Squire Knox asked in fright. "Something older than time itself, and lost even in legend. It is like nothing I have ever seen, nor heard of from the tales of knights," replied Sir Brevin. He stood tall, and waved his sword to attract the attention of the ancient protector. "I am Sir Brevin, of the Diagro Knights of Reloria. These giants and green creatures are invaders, coming to wage war on our peoples." The protector listened to him before bending down to grasp a Vergai ship and lifting it to eye level for study. Vergai and Junda fell a great distance into the sea, and one lone Cyclops remained, clutching the broken deck rail. "How answer ye, alleged invader?" asked the ancient protector, showing no indication as to which side he would take. The Cyclops looked smaller than a bond fairy in the hands of the ice creature, and did what Cyclops did best. His hazel eye turned red before becoming a white hot beam of light, melting the icy nose of the protector, causing it to drop him into the sea. "Ye hath no respect for the forces of nature," the ancient protector said quietly. "So be it, foul invader. If it is war ye seek, then war ye shall have." Every story featured on Storytime appears with the author's permission. If you have enjoyed this sample of Dragon's Revenge by Kasper Beaumont, be sure to check out the show notes for details of how to find more of her work. Follow the links to purchase your own copy and find out what happens next. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe so you never miss an episode.